Yo, what up, though? It's your boy E-Dub, and I'm here with my co-host on this co-parenting series.
Sebring Worthy, what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today, man? We back at it again.
Yes, sir, man. This year is flying by. We at May already. Can you believe it?
Yeah, man. May is a special month, as we all know. Um,
Yeah, the Indy 500, things like
no,
that.
nah.
Memorial Day.
It is a brother's birthday coming up, man. It's always a blessing to get a year under your belt. You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful for all the above, man. So we all need to make sure that we show that love for these May babies, man. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Taurus Boris, who cares? Moving right along,
Do it.
we are here. We want to welcome you guys back to the Firm Fatherhood co-parenting series. This is our final episode in this series, and we want to take a deeper dive. We're going to ask some questions that we haven't really asked before.
Hmm.
Because the truth is, a lot of co-parenting issues, they aren't about the other parent. Sometimes we got to hold that mirror up and look at it and say, hey, what am I doing? What could I have done differently? Um, so that's what we're going to talk about. We're here to ask the questions. We're here to talk about what we haven't healed yet,
Hmm.
the trauma we carry, the pain that never processed, the habits that we picked up just trying to survive. You know, a lot of us are young parents and we're absolutely in survival mode at that time. So
Yeah.
we just want to talk about some of those things. So today we're asking a different kind of question. Not what are they doing wrong, but what are we carrying into these situations that are affecting everything? All right.
Sounds like we're gonna talk about a little accountability today, bro. That's what that sounds like
Absolutely.
to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wherever you go, you take you with you, right?
All day, brother.
Yes, sir.
So let's start here. How does unresolved trauma show up in co-parenting?
It shows up as control. It shows rigidity, needing things done your way, because deep down you don't feel safe unless you are totally in control. You know? Are you co-parenting or are you trying to control what you can't trust? That's a deep question right there. Like, um, how do you answer that? What do you do?
When you ask that question, I immediately think about me driving in a car. I
Hmm.
can go 100 miles an hour and feel no problem.
Right.
But if somebody next to me is driving, at the speed limit, I'm like, oh my goodness, what's
Yeah.
going on? Hold on, wait. So
Hmm.
it immediately hit home for me. I can resonate with that.
Right.
It shows up like, when you've been hurt before, control feels like protection. You have
Right.
to protect everything. And although I've never been in a traumatic car accident, I've seen them and I'm like, I don't want that to happen to me. So let me control this thing. That way, at least I can, weave and bob and do these other things. But you got to relinquish that control, especially when you're in a co-parenting situation. It just builds up tension.
Well, I know that you've felt this way before. I think we've all felt that way before. Something happened that could be hurtful within a relationship, situation, or anything, and the first thing out of your mouth is like, "I bet you I'm not going to let that happen again."
Oh, yeah.
Like, you're in your P's and Q's from this point forward, and you're watching for the hurt. You're guarding against it. So you might be a little bit hyper vigilant and kind of attacking and doing things that may not need to be done. You're overreacting because you've been hurt before, maybe?
Yeah. And we often hide behind things like, oh, I'm just protecting a child. But
Hmm.
you can't say that it's structured when you're leading in fear. It
No.
really is fear. You're just trying to protect your peace, so to
Yeah.
speak. But
Yeah.
no,
You
you
can
just
make
found
it
good
look,
words to hide it.
yeah, you can make it look however you want to make it look. It's from your vantage point. So your opinion of it can be a little skewed and maybe not on point.
Yeah, always.
Hmm.
And we're always I'm doing this for the betterment of my child. Like, stop, stop it,
I think I've heard that a few times. I think I've
stop
heard that a
it.
few
You
times.
don't care. Oh, I do care.
Right, right. Trying to belabor the point, like I said, kind of over exaggerating those things because you're protecting against that hurt, and you just don't want to feel that again. So it's understandable.
I mean, it happens to the best of us,
Hmm.
especially at a young age when you're in survival mode trying to figure things out.
Yep.
you don't know what your life looks like, and here you are with a child. You like now, so now what does our life look like? You know?
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Um, so as we talk about um, structure and maybe what it doesn't look like, you know, what does structure look like?
Healthy structure is when you put the child first. You set
Mhm.
aside your emotions and all that and say, okay, the child needs to be with the co-parent or the other parent. You know, they need that time. They need that structure.
Mhm.
Allow that parent to parent, and you have to let them know that you have to give them the space to
Mhm.
make those mistakes because everybody doesn't isn't born with that gene. You know,
Right.
you're going to be bumps along the road, and
Right.
it's okay to voice your opinion, but you cannot structure somebody else's household.
Yeah. And structure looks a lot like cooperation as well. If I can sit down with the other parent and we kind of talk around whatever our schedule is like, what I can do, what I'm able to do, what I'm not able to do, you can come up with a structured schedule for you yourself, the co-parent, and the child that works a little bit better for everybody and not just, for your convenience, for your schedule. That's selfish and one-sided, and that usually creates and starts the tension and the arguments. So you want to kind of be a little bit more cooperative in a situation like that.
Flexible. Like you said,
Yeah.
it has to work for both all parties. It's not both parties because it's a three-legged race. You know,
Yes.
the mother, the father, and the child or children.
Right.
But if you solely like, oh, I can't do it this Friday because me and my homies gonna go hang out. Me and the girls is girls' night. We
Yeah.
doing brunch.
Yeah.
It's okay to have those moments, but you can't base everything around that.
Yeah, man. Just
You
because
have
you
to be
got
flexible.
just because you got tickets to Usher and boy Chris Brown, that don't mean I'm not, busy. I don't have something to do. Don't make that something over everybody. I bet if you came ahead of time and you spoke to the other parent and you told him or her, hey, I got this going on, whatever the case, can we schedule something to where you get them on this day? Work something out. Start a dialogue. Talk to each other. That way, regardless of whether or not both of you might have something going on, somebody might have to sacrifice, or somebody might have an idea where you can make sure that, the kid is properly cared for and get a babysitter, something you both can agree upon. It just makes sense.
So when you say beforehand, does that mean I purchased the tickets, then I'll tell them?
No, I'm thinking about purchasing the tickets. What do you think? Are you able to help me out with this situation? Sometimes you're like, I'm going to this concert. Like, look, those words, those infamous words that we hear so much, man, but do we really mean it? Let's do what's best for the child. How many times is that being said? And that's not really being backed by actual action, just words.
Yeah,
Do what's best for the child.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. You got to change your focus.
Right. Right.
Change your focus.
Right.
All right, so let me ask you this. What's the
Mhm.
difference between triggered parenting and intentional parenting?
Triggered parenting is reactive. It's emotional. It's immediate. It's based on what just hit you. Intentional parenting is slower. It's thought out. It's about what's best for the child, not how you feel in the moment. So, in other words, don't let your emotions get the best of you, saying something that you may not really mean or that you can't take back. Take your time with this thing. Slowly talk it out. Be two rational adults. And like I said, I think you can work things out that way. Everybody's not going to always get their way every time. You have to understand that going in also. So, you know, just like you said, um, don't get caught up in the emotions that you feel in the moment. Making a rational decision and talk to each other with respect.
Yeah. And how many times have you heard or even said this? You better stop before I give you something to cry about. Like
Right.
that's intentional. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, that's triggered. Like
Right.
the child did something, so here's my reaction. That
Yes.
is very intentional. I'm sorry, I keep messing that up.
No, no, it's
That
all
is
good.
very triggered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Intentional parenting is let's pause, take a minute, 20-second time out, see
Mm-hmm.
what's going on right now. Help me understand. That's when you're seeking clarity.
Yeah.
Some people call this gentle parenting,
Mm-hmm.
but it's parenting with intention.
Right. 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 That's all it is. Just making sure that you are intentional about how you communicate, how you are loving on your child, and how you're willing to do it in a cooperative nature. So, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Cooperative, all
Yeah.
parties involved.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Here's another question I got for you. Are you
Okay.
parenting your child or reacting to your triggers?
Hmm. I don't know. I know for a lot of people and a lot of co-parents, because every time you react out of emotion, your past just entered the chat. You know, that's never good as a man. Everybody has emotions and goes through their range of emotions. More times than not, it's our daughters and our, wives and ladies that kind of get the best, emotions get the best of them. Um, but that's not to say it doesn't happen to men as well.
Oh, it absolutely happens, but
Yeah.
we have to, as men, control that. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel I'm getting angry, or I
Right.
feel I'm getting pissed off. Check that at the door.
Yeah, man, you
Calm
got
down.
to.
That's exactly what. That's when you're supposed to stop. Hold
Right.
up. Wait, what's going on? I'm
Yeah.
out of character at this point.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, man. It's easy to get kind of swept away in the heat of the moment, because when you're dealing with something about family, someone that you had a relationship with, your child, those are a bunch of different emotions swept into one situation, usually. So it can be difficult to be intentional about keeping your calm through all situations. But it's important that you go into the situation minding your emotions and knowing, hey, this could get out of hand. Let me make sure to keep a close eye on me and take accountability for myself and how I communicate right now. Because it could the first wrong thing can end the conversation. It's like, okay,
Oh, it
what
can
what
absolutely damage the
yeah.
entire thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So whatever it is that you're trying to do or trying to get help with, it can all go out the window with a matter of a little bit of disrespect. So let's think about that when we go into a situation where we're having a conversation and we got to cooperate with one another.
I 100% as a young man would pull that grenade pin and
Oh, boy.
go right in there. Like, oh, you
Mhm.
hurt me?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, I've been waiting on this. So
Uh,
please keep the gloves on. White
I,
glove treatment. Do not put the boxing gloves on.
I did not learn not to take that roller coaster ride early on in my life. I would take tickets to it every single time. Like, what we talking crazy? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We on the roller coaster ride. We going that's what we doing with our emotions right now. Hey, I'm with you. Let's go and let's do it. It took me a while to understand what that was, and sometimes even being baited into it. So, as a man, as a young man, I fell for it quite often. But after a little bit of extensive experience, you learn to kind of go the other way with it and kind of dead that at the door. Like, yeah, nah, we're not doing that today. And go the other way. Like I said, this is what I'm calling for. My intention, I'm very intentional about talking about our child
Mhm.
in a respectful manner. If we can't do that, then let's try again another time.
I'm gonna end the conversation.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. We
Right.
both need time to cool off. So
Yes. Yeah. That's the way it
a
goes.
good question to ask in those moments is, do I need to respond or do I need a moment?
Hmm.
And yeah, you absolutely have to ask yourself that question in that moment. And most of the times, 9 times out of 10, you just need a moment.
Hmm.
Do react. One of the things that you said time and time again that I've taken heed to is everything don't need a reaction. Everything doesn't need a response.
No.
Do not engage.
No.
Don't do it.
Please. Please don't do it. A lifetime of pain, heartache, headache, stress, a lot of stuff that that's not good for you in any way, shape, or form. Um, like I said, it's all fun and games at first because you feel like you can like I can go, we can do this all day, but that stuff gets exhausting.
Yeah.
It gets exhausting, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's have a conversation, and like I said, steer this the right way. If we can't do this today, hey, let's try another day. Even if it's several days from today, let's try again another day. It's okay.
As a young man, I would often want to have that conversation. I wanted the smoke. Like,
Right.
please,
Right.
let's do
I
this. I've
get
been
that.
waiting on this.
Hmm.
So I get it. I get it.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this. When does your co-parent become your emotional punching bag?
Hmm. Maybe when you haven't processed what happened between y'all. Maybe when you're still um issues going on between you and her. Um,
Unresolved. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All kind of different stuff. Every disagreement, every misunderstanding. That time when you guys mixed up who was supposed to pick the baby up on Friday night after work. You being late for the drop off, all that stuff kind of adds up, right? And it kind of, when you get to the point where you come into with somebody and you're face to face, all that stuff comes right back to the surface. Like I got something to say about all that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So it can happen real quickly, man. Again, mind your emotions. Make sure you're taking care of your emotions. Um, you know, be an adult. Let's mature up a little bit.
because we would dig up the entire background, I mean the
Yeah.
backyard, just to find that one bone that was buried back there. Like, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Anything can happen,
definitely.
man. So all that stuff, man. And sometimes stuff builds because sometimes you kind of leave one in the chamber. Like, all right, I ain't gonna say nothing this time. And then finally when it gets to the point where you feel like you want to say something, now is da 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 da. You going back months back because you still upset about all that stuff, man. There has to be a respectful way that you can air your grievances without being disrespectful to one another or saying something that you have a problem with. It's a way to go about that. But don't let that stuff pile up because, like I said, it's stressful to you. It can be unfair to the other party because you're unloading all this stuff on them. As stuff happens, if it deems important enough to have a conversation about it, have a conversation about it. Have a respectful conversation about it. So don't let that stuff build up.
The timing of it has to be. You cannot have these conversations, like we said, when you're emotional or you're mad.
Right.
So both parties are in a good headspace and then have those conversations.
Right.
All right.
That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to be.
So tell me, have you ever heard this? You always do this.
Hmm.
This is why we didn't work. If it's so important, you got to get in front of those conversations. Try this statement instead.
Hmm. Yeah.
Let's keep this about the schedule or whatever's going on. I'm
Hmm.
not going back and forth with you.
Hmm.
This is that intentional parenting. Like
It is.
at this point, we're not arguing about the child. You're just reopening old wounds. You got to steer clear of all that. Like, nah, I'm not going there with you. Is this about the child or is this about me and you? Because if it's not about the child, I'm not interested. You're not going to date me into these conversations.
Hey, you know what that stuff is that you just mentioned? You always do this. That's why we didn't work. If it was so important, why didn't you get in front of the statement? Like all those things is gaslighting. Those are just little bombs that you drop off, and you'd be like, "Man, what? Like, where did that even come from?" You could be in a good frame of mind, calm, ready to have a conversation, and one of those things are said, and it'll set you off in a heartbeat. Like, what? You're ready to protect yourself. You're ready to fight. Like I said, man, like leave that stuff be because it's all purposely done most times to start an argument or to start some back and forth or some friction within the situation. Like try this out for size. Like, hey, you seem a little upset right now. Let's talk a little later. I'll talk to you a little later when we can have a better or more pleasant conversation. Hopefully that doesn't ignite her even more. But those things that she said to you, it's just all gaslighting. That's all stuff to trying to inflame the situation, man. And you have to be able to notice those things, pick that out, and go another course. Don't go to course. Don't go and pick off what it is she's trying to give to you. Don't do it.
Yeah, because they're emotional roadblocks. They're trying to bait you in or paint you into a corner to where you're ready to fight and react.
Right.
I told you he's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You triggered me. And
Yeah.
let's just be honest. Most co-parenting situations, the other parent knows how to push those buttons,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they will
Because
stand
they
on
know
it.
you.
They will find that nerve and live there.
Yeah.
Not allow 'em. Don't do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. They know you. They know what's happened. That's what's worked in the past as far as gaslighting you. They know
Mhm.
exactly what to say and when to say it to get a reaction out of you, or at least to attempt to get a reaction out of you. So don't buy it. Don't fall for it. You fell for it the first 4 or 5 times. Don't fall for it the six. Just at some point, let's do something different because the other stuff's not working. So let's do something different. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So answer me this. Are you arguing about today or bleeding from yesterday?
Mhm.
Um, Similar to what we were just talking about. Um, are we holding grudges? Are we still upset about something that I may have gotten my way about and you weren't able to get your way about? Did we just go to court? Did something kind of fall in my favor and you're still upset?
Yeah,
We got to ask ourselves those questions, right?
I think if we're being honest, we're bleeding from yesterday in
Yeah.
those situations because the reaction doesn't match the moment.
No.
You talking about old stuff. Why you keep bringing up old stuff?
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah.
Um, it's not just about the missed call or the schedule change and stuff like that. You know,
Hmm.
it's also about the disrespect that you felt before, the hurt that was never addressed, the trust that was broken and never rebuilt. Like these are honest, legit situations that somebody is carrying. And at some point, you have to address those situations, but not while we're dealing with whatever situation it is about the child.
That's powerful what you just said. For a situation to be kind of fuzzy or a little tension in it, because you never did anything to rebuild the trust that was there. And man, in order to rebuild the trust that was there, that means somebody has to admit that they were wrong. And that's all difficult right there. Like you have to go into a situation like, all right, I messed up right here. What can I do, or what can we do to get back on the same page? Because I wasn't trying to mess anything up. That's difficult. Like I said, you're gonna have to somebody admit that, yeah, it was me. I'm sorry. I shouldn't even did that or said that. And then be able to be like, okay, so now that we've gotten past that and have acknowledged that, what do we do to fix it? That's really big, man. I don't think that's done or said enough about how difficult that is and how important it is to actually do it.
Yeah, because I mean, we all carry baggage,
Right.
especially if you feel wronged by somebody else.
Hmm.
And as long as they still feel that type of way, they won't see your side because they're carrying that thing. It's like,
Right.
no, you can't go see Usher. Like, absolutely not. Like, why would you go see Usher? Remember
Yeah.
back when that song came out,
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm still mad
Oh,
about
goodness,
that. When
yeah,
I walked in, you was playing that song.
yeah.
What's going on?
Triggers quickly.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You be like, man, that was 10 years ago. Still
yeah,
carrying it.
yeah.
You got to resolve those issues in order for the co-parenting situation to work just a
Right,
little.
right.
Or like you said, or at least acknowledge, like, yeah, you know what? I might have been out of pocket when I said that.
Man, that'd be so powerful, dog, because it's damn near like an apology. And
Mhm.
sometimes when you kind of lower people's defenses when you be like, you know what, I'm sorry. When you admit being wrong in a situation, you kind of lower people's that defense a little bit. Like, hey, I'm sorry, that was my fault. And now we can have a conversation without all the tension.
Yeah, man. I went into this situation. Somebody had wronged my mother. And I mean, I had it in my hand. I walked up to the lady at the customer service. I was ready to give it to her,
Hmm.
steaming hot.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Wallace, da 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 da. We'll get this taken care of. I mean, she took all the air out of me. And I was still
Yeah.
huffed and puffed and like,
Yeah.
I didn't have a leg to stand on. I'm like,
Nope.
she admitted that they had made a mistake
Yeah.
and they were going to correct it.
Yeah. You go back, you're like, I'm really she better be
I was
glad she
ready to fight.
apologized, but I was ready to go. And then when she did, you like, oh, okay. All right,
Okay,
cool.
yeah. Now what am I gonna
Yeah,
do?
yep. Like you said, it takes the air right out of that hostile situation. So, you know, put that in your tool bag, into your tool belt. And, just taking accountability, admitting that you're wrong about something, and an attempt to fix it. Those things go into your tool belt and can be used for situations such as these.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I got one for you.
Hmm.
Is your co-parent your partner in parenting or your outlet for pain?
Mm. And kids feel the tension, even when they don't, when you think they don't. Um, but what they say, Dub, is that, usually when you're hurt, you hurt the person closest to you.
Oh
So
yeah.
somebody
Hmm.
that you got to deal with often, like a co-parent, when something is wrong, when things aren't exactly great, especially when you're not exactly my favorite person, I might spill a little bit on you. I might take a little bit on you, out on you, just because it's a bad day, just because last time we talked, it didn't end the way I wanted it to. So a lot of different reasons for that, but that's human nature. So absolutely, that happens. That happens like that sometimes.
I've been a victim of it. I've had a bad day at work, and just because they called in the right moment, I'm like, aha.
Yeah, yeah. I
Don't
needed
want
an
to take it out
outlet.
on the wifey, but guess
Right,
who
right.
called?
You perfect candidate. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Drop
yeah,
this off
man.
on you real quick and be on my way.
Hey man, we gotta be honest, man. Us as men, as fathers, we go through a lot of different things through the course of a day. I definitely have to check myself just when I come in the house every day. I gotta make sure that my emotions are intact and that I'm not attacking someone that doesn't deserve it. So I can see a lot of times fathers, being irritated, or being short or upset. because of a conversation going the wrong way, or hell, going the right way, and you just are having a bad day. So I wouldn't put that on either mom or dad specifically. I think it can happen in either instance.
Oh yeah, 100%. We,
Yeah,
we both fall victim to that one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Always, always.
So, let's talk about the most important thing in co-parenting, the children,
Right, right,
How do
right.
kids absorb adult emotional wounds?
They definitely don't understand it, but they feel it. They feel tension, they feel frustration, they feel division, um, and that's just a sad situation. I always give myself an example. You can always use me as a guinea pig. A lot of different times, man, I did not react correctly, and my kids were directly affected through the bad vibes, the bad energy, and the tension, and the words back and forth. It took me a while to understand um, that they don't understand what you're going through, even if you attempt to explain it to them. All they know is mom and dad are not getting along, they're hollering at each other, they're disrespectful to each other, and it's hurtful because the two people that we love the most can't seem to get along.
Get along. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Kids often internalize things too. They be like, "Am I the reason that they're fighting?
Right.
What did I do? Maybe I should have went to class, or my grades ain't the best.
Hmm.
Whatever it is, they misread adult situations as
Right.
well. They should. They're
Yeah.
not mature enough to even understand it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I got young adult kids at this point, 18 and 19, and we still have discussions that they don't really can completely grasp as of yet. They're still trying to understand and know what they're going through as young adults, let alone the emotions and the feelings and the things that were going on back then. It was really difficult to try to explain some of those things, but they're not there yet, and I think it's just lack of experience. When they are able to marry that experience with that type of knowledge, then maybe you'll get some understanding. But until then, they just feel hurt by it. So we try our
yeah,
best to refrain from it, apologize for it, and be intentional about trying to fix whatever's going on between you and the co-parent.
yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, absolutely. Um, what are your kids learning from how you handle conflict? That's usually where they get it from, right?
Yeah, and I admit I have not been the best example growing up.
Mm,
As I was growing up and my kids were growing up watching me,
mm.
I would spew venom,
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
time. That was my go-to. But they're absolutely learning how to communicate. At least they should be learning the right ways to communicate. If you're
Mhm.
given the right example, placed in front of them, they will learn how to resolve conflict in a healthy manner.
Right.
And that's really, like you said, the people that they love the most need to treat each other with love. And if we can't do that, then guess what they're going to do when they get into relationships?
Same thing you doing.
The
Same
generational curse.
thing.
This is taught.
Yeah.
Watching it, observing it, but they don't. They like, oh, this is how my parents did, so this is what I'm supposed to do. It's not
Yeah.
healthy. It's
No.
not healthy.
No.
You need to show them how to love and how to deal with pain. All by examples that you set before them.
Hmm.
Because if not, they're gonna pick it up in the streets, and it may be even way worse.
Yeah, man. It'd be way, way worse because they'll just compound what negative things that you do plus what they see in the streets. So
Yeah,
that just that's a recipe for disaster right there because you're not being like we're trying to do today with this whole topic, just being accountable for yourself. And I think that's one of the hardest things to do as a young adult or just a young person, period, because it's hard to grasp and understand. Everything seems like somebody else's fault or the reason why you did this was because somebody else did that. That was one of the toughest lessons that I'm still teaching to my kids is on how to take accountability for yourselves. Certain things don't look like they lead back to you, but guess what? They do.
you do. Yeah,
They do.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Unhealed parents raise confused children at
Yeah.
the end of the day.
Yeah.
And we got to do better. We have to heal in order for the next generation to be better.
I so want if there's anything else as far as my personal thought about firm fatherhood and what I want to utilize it for, is to help heal our community in so many different instances. There's so many things going on that you can just tell when you're dealing with certain your own family members. You can see the hurt and the pain from the things that have happened in the past and have never been touched on or even begin to heal from those things. And if you keep trying to hide those things and tuck those things in, they just become worse and worse, and you pass them on to your kids and your grandkids and so on and so forth. Let's be intentional about being accountable for yourself, your shortcomings, and how to go about healing those things so they don't pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said, brother. Well
Yeah.
said, man.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna put a bow on that thing. That was a pretty good one right
I
there.
dig that. I dig that, man. We might have to do a part two, part three, four, five co-parenting series, man. I'm sure there's a lot of things that we can still touch on, but this was powerful, man. It was very intentional. I really dig how we attacked it and how we were able to kind of really get to the meat and potatoes of this thing, man, and kind of break it down, um,
Yeah.
so we can kind of understand what we're dealing with ourselves and with our family and with our children.
Yeah, it's being very intentional, man.
Yeah,
If you take nothing else from this series, please take this. Your child doesn't need a perfect parent. It needs a present one, a healing one, a growing one. Because the truth is, your healing is part of your parenting.
yeah, yeah,
Think about it that way.
yeah. Absolutely. Sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves. If you and your co-parent can't get along and every interaction is triggering, draining, setting you back, then maybe the goal shouldn't be I get closer right now, communication right now. Maybe the goal should be healthier distance. Because at the end of the day, peace is more important than proximity. And if co-parenting is becoming a barrier to your growth, it might be time to consider parallel parenting instead of co-parenting. Not out of
Mm,
spite, but out of maturity. Because sometimes the best way to protect your child is to protect your peace first. So,
Mike.
that's a great segue into some of the things that we'll be talking about next.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for parallel parenting. We're gonna definitely dig into that because that's some new verbiage that's been kicking around, and I've been doing a little research, so I can't really wait to dive into that.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna get into that, get an understanding of it. We're gonna get ahead of this. A lot of these new things are coming out, and these sound catchy, but we're gonna dig into it and see if there's some meat to this bone. And if it is, we're gonna understand it, dissect it, and we're gonna feed it to you all.
All right. Can't wait.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This has been our co-parenting series on Firm Fatherhood. If you've been rocking with us through every episode, we appreciate you. Drop in the comments what's something that you realized about yourself during this series. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with other fathers because it's just not content. This is real life. This is real growth. And this is Firm Fatherhood. Until next time, I'm Earl Wallace.
I'm Sebring Worthy.
Holla at y'all. Peace.
We out.